I guess you could say the download process is literally your brain thinking it's in that situation, and this would require a few things. The mind's eye must run to a couple of separate areas of the brain. The occipital lobe would be the first requirement, and this is the visual processing area of the brain. Now, also to couple with this, before we get into that, the optic nerve, which obviously runs from the eyes to the occipital lobe, is fairly fast, but it's pretty clear to me the mind's eye would connect to the optic nerve, probably very, very close to the eyes, and then run to the visual processing center, because then that signal would go into the mind's eye as well, and then it could make a decision based on what it's seeing, which is why everybody also likely appears slower to Diaz and I guess less trained, because he's processing things faster. But anyways, here's where we see, like, remember the hallucinations? I'll show it up on screen. You don't remember it unless you've played it, but the hallucinations in the room, that was with us because it was supposed to be. When entering the office, Diaz sees that there is a bubble in space that appears. Clearly, it isn't really there to somebody who doesn't have a mind's eye. However, what the mind's eye is actually doing is attempting to integrate combat experience. But as you go through this experience, what is essentially happening is a prolonged period of unconsciousness as your visual cortex, specifically the primary visual cortex and visual association centers, are activated. And this would basically make the brain see this event. Because remember, the brain is simply interpreting the information around you through stimulus. If the brain is force-fired to process information coming in from the mind's eye, then there's virtually no difference according to your brain. And it would be the same thing as it happening versus being implied that it happened. But it's not just new experiences designed by the mind's eye, it's also others. Later, you see what it's like to be a back niner through the eyes of someone else, very likely tapping into the lens that they were wearing at that time. You are then essentially them for an extended period of time, learning how to fight and new skills, which makes you more adept at dealing with those tactics that they in turn might use on you later on.